It is important to recognize the fact that not all Jews toe the line with respect to Israel. For example, some Jews who are members of the organization Neturei Kartai have not only criticized Zionists, but have also engaged in demonstrations against the Zionist mentality. Rabbi Yisrael Weiss is quite outspoken about this.
Zionists have it down pat. They have the politicians they have under their hands with AIPAC. When a politician will try to show support or listen to what we have to say as representatives of Judaism, and that we do not want their support or whatever of the Zionist state or so forth, they'll know if they'll speak out, they will be destroying themselves or committing suicide politically because of AIPAC.
Yet, due to Jewish political influence of those who exhibit a Zionist mentality, it is argued that rarely does anyone in politics dare to discuss this unnatural control that Israel exhibits over the United States. The natural question is thus asked, why wouldn't politicians simply complain about this unnatural control to the media? The answer, again, many feel, is quite grim. The Jewish media barons. Throughout the world, some Gentiles perceive Jews as having gained a virtual stranglehold on the media. In some cases, they merely own the media outright. One looks to Canada and sees Mr. Israel Asper, who owns most of the media there, lock, stock and barrel. Anyone even critical of Israel is often said to be fired by Mr. Asper. Likewise, in Germany and many other parts of Europe, reporters are actually required to be pro-Israel. Perhaps, aside from Canada, nowhere is the Jewish involvement in pro-Israel propaganda more evident than in the United States. Many believe that the propaganda exhibited by the media moguls promotes anti-Gentile hatred. It must be admitted that in nearly all cases where Jews are portrayed in the media, there is never a negative portrayal of Jews en masse. Rarely any fair and balanced criticism of Israel, and seldom any reference to Jews who have committed crimes. The reason that Israel is so highly praised in the United States is reportedly the direct result of a Jewish media monopoly. The names of the Jews who monopolize America's media are vast and many. Some feel that, while the names may change, the Jewish media controlling legacy continues as they hand off the torch from one Jew to another, thus keeping Gentiles at bay. As former President Nixon once noted, as quoted in Leonard Dinnerstein's book In Search of Anti-Semitism, politicians are often controlled via the media. Nixon promulgated, "People have to realize that the Jews in the United States control the entire information and propaganda machine. The large newspapers, the motion pictures, radio and television, and the big companies. And there is a force that we have to take into consideration." It is argued that Nixon was right about this too, although Jews suggest that he was merely full of Jew hatred. You would think that such a comment as his would have made national headlines here, though perhaps Jews simply censored it because it was too controversial. It must be recognized that the small 2% of people who are of Jewish racial religious descent monopolize nearly all the major media.